Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. In this one, we're going to be doing a 7th round New York Jets mock draft. Quick little disclaimer, the Jets actually don't own any 6th round picks or 7th round picks, but we do own multiple picks in multiple rounds before that. Okay, so really exciting stuff for us Jets fans out there. Now, really the underlying theme of this mock draft was the Joe Douglas philosophy, and I plan to do a bunch of these kind of throughout the off-season, or really the draft season here, leading up to late April with different themes, but we're kicking this thing off with the Joe Douglas philosophy, building teams from the inside out, building up the offensive line, really focusing on aggressive players that fit the scheme. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right in. So with the 4th overall pick in the draft, I have the Jets going with defensive end from Purdue, George Karlaftis. Coming in at 6'4", 275, Karlaftis plays the game with so much anger, and I love it. He's big, explosive, violent. He has a myriad of different moves. You look at him as a scheme fit for what Robert Saleh wants to do defensively. He's a perfect fit as that 4-3 D end. He never has to come off the field. He has production in both pass pro and in defending against the run. I also think he comes in and fills an immediate need opposite of Carl Lawson on the defensive line. Look, let's not beat around the bush here. The Jets defense last year was atrocious. It was horrible. 32 out of 32. We were giving up roughly 30 points per game. We were 24th in the league in sacks. That number has to get better. This entire defensive system is based around getting after the quarterback with your 4 down linemen. We were not doing that, and the defense struggled big time. I think Karlaftis can immediately come in, be a day 1 impact starter. Again, system fit, doesn't have to come off the field. He plays with that big time motor, second to none. A Saleh guy. I think Karlaftis makes a lot of sense for spot number 4. We're looking at the picks that kind of, the 3 teams that went before us. Jacksonville, Detroit, Houston. It's pretty clear as we stand right now. Of course, things are subject to change. We still have the combine, pro days, all that good stuff, but it's looking like Thibodeau's going to go before us, or before, the 4th overall pick. Evan Neal probably as well. And then, of course, Aiden Hutchinson. So right now, I'm looking at that 4th overall pick as a massive luxury to improve this team at a huge position of need. And of course, you can push back and say, hey, man, he only had 4.5 sacks this past season. How's he going to come in with better competition, better going up against better tackles, and get in the backfield more, have more success? 4.5 sacks is nothing to write home about, and that is true, but we have to take a look at quarterback hits. We have to look at pressures. He had 54. Okay, look at tackles for loss. I mean, this freshman season, as a freshman, George Karlaftis racked up 17 tackles for loss. Crazy. Okay, so he has the potential, he has the size, and of course we do have to factor in this Jets coaching staff. This is a little bit of an assumption here, but if they're selecting a guy in the top 5, you have to be 100% confident in your ability as a coach to develop that player. So with Joe Douglas wanting to address the trenches, wanting to build up that defensive line at a huge position of need and positional value, I have him going with Karlaftis. So with the 10th overall pick, I have the Jets going with center from Iowa, Tyler Linderbaum. You want to talk about a guy who is just a perfect scheme fit. Physically, he's 6'3", 290 pounds. You look at what this guy has done in his zone blocking attack. He is absolutely dominant. He has been an anchor on the Iowa offensive line for years now. He has received great coaching, tons and tons of production in run blocking. He is also fantastic in pass pro as well. I love Tyler Linderbaum. I really do. Great size for the position. He is athletic. He is quick enough to pull to get to the 2nd level. I think Tyler Linderbaum is a slam dunk. Think about this. Last season, who was the guy that all Jets fans really wanted? It was center from Oklahoma, Creed Humphrey. And look, you guys called this. You guys knew from day 1, from Jump Street, that Creed Humphrey was going to be a great NFL player, and he fit the Jets system to a T. Long story short, he falls with the Kansas City Chiefs. And you can make an argument right now. Yes, he's a rookie center, but you can make the argument he's literally one of the best centers in the entire NFL, and that he got snubbed from the All-Pro list. Okay, you can make that argument. You're not crazy. We're not just talking about the rookies here. We're talking about the entire NFL. The point is, Tyler Linderbaum is a better draft prospect in my eyes compared to Creed Humphrey. So I think, man, again, given Joe Douglas's viewpoint on the offensive line, understanding where he came from, Philadelphia, winning the Super Bowl with that stacked offensive line, You look at who the free agents are going to be on this offensive line. LTD, Dan Feeney, Greg Van Roten will probably be cut. Connor McDermott at tackle. Mekhi Becton's health moving forward. I think we need some anchors on this O-line. Morgan Moses is another pending free agent, unrestricted free agent. I really think we have to invest here. And it also provides makes Connor McGovern expendable. You know, he's a $10.3 million cap hit for next season. If we want to trade McGovern, now we can. If we want to part ways with McGovern, save some money, use that money elsewhere, possibly for trading for a wide receiver, whatever the case may be, we have that luxury to do that. Maybe we take Connor and we put him at right guard, see how we can do there. I personally think that Connor can actually do some good things at right guard, and then all of a sudden we're upgrading at center and at right guard. So the possibilities are truly endless here. Tyler Linderbaum to the Jets at spot number 10. Next up, round 2, pick 35 overall, we're going safety from Michigan, Daxton Hill. Coming in at 6 foot 195, Dax Hill's a long, versatile player who recorded 69 tackles, 2 interceptions, 8 passes defended against in 14 games for the Wolverines defense last year. You look at what McDonald asked him to do as a defensive back. I mean, man, he put a lot on his plate, and Hill responded. He responded quite well. I mean, that's a loaded Wolverines defense. Not only did he, was he just out there making plays here and there, but he was actually one of the guys, one of the premier bright spots of that defense, lining up all over the place. You could put him, as free safety, ball hawking guy. He can help out in the running game. I think that's an underrated part of Dax Hill's game. You could line him up as a nickel corner if you really need him to. He could do a lot. He's super, super athletic. I actually think Dax Hill's stock is going to climb post-combine. I think he's going to blow a lot of people away. And so just kind of something to keep your eye on. Personally, like if I was, a team like in the bottom of round 1, I think I would look at Daxton Hill as a potential target. But again, as we stand right now, early mid-January, he's projected to go in that second round. So for me, within the first couple picks here, I'm totally going with Daxton Hill. You also have to look at the Jets' safety room. Okay, I personally do not feel comfortable going into next season running a cover 3, cover 4 system with guys like Ashton Davis, not only just a young roster, but also a room that doesn't really provide that much talent at that position. So for me, I think Dax Hill would be an absolute slam dunk. Next up, pick 38, our second round pick here. I'm going Trey McBride, tight end, Colorado State. 6'4", 260. Listen to these numbers. 11 games, 86 catches, over 1,000 receiving yards. Okay, college football didn't expand their season like the NFL did, where they're playing 17 games. No, those numbers are elite. Over 1,000 receiving yards for a tight end in college football. Insane. McBride projects really well into the NFL because of what he can do, not only just as a receiver, as a pass-catching tight end, but also as a blocker. I think you look at the base, the West Coast concept. We look at teams that run the system successfully around the league. The Raiders with Darren Waller, the 49ers where Mike LaFleur came from with George Kittle, Higbee with the Rams. Think back to Washington a couple years ago with Jordan Reed. This system calls for tight end production. It gives you so much more leash as an offense if you actually have a viable threat, and Ryan Griffin is not a long-term building block, and neither is Tyler Croft. I think right now Trey McBride comes in and is the immediate day 1 tight end. He's an upgrade today on this Jets roster. I mean, man, 50-50 balls, can box out guys. He's good after the catch. So many guys like Trey McBride, and I'm right there with him. Next up, round 3, pick 69. I'm going wide receiver from Alabama, John Metchie. Coming in at 6 foot 195, Metchie was originally expected to go in the bottom portion of round 1, but as we all know, he ended up tearing his ACL against Georgia late into the season, and that's going to affect his draft stock in a big way. The expectation right now is that he's going to go somewhere in that that bottom round 2, in the first half of round 3, somewhere in that range. Obviously, there's a lot that, again, a lot of time in between now, mid-January, and of course the draft. But look, Metchie on the field, is explosive. His speed is insane. His route running ability is insane. I mean, you just look at him with the football in his hands. He makes plays. He's just a ball player at the end of the day. He could hurt you in the deep parts of the passing game, getting behind defenses, but really in the short parts is really where he excels. I'm just picturing Zach Wilson feeding this guy on crossing patterns and him just outrunning nickel corners, just being able to blaze right by outside linebackers, just, zooming right by their face. And these defenders don't even have time to catch up or even figure out what the heck is going on because this guy's moves so fast. His route running ability is elite. Now, of course, we have to bring up the knee. Is he going to be the same? Will he be the same? Will he re-injure that knee in the future? We don't really have those answers right now. Again, we're in January, but I do feel like in round 3, it's worth taking a shot on a guy who is an expected first round pick, but a guy that just has so much upside, so much potential within this offense. I think, to me, it's worth it. We have those 2 first round picks. We have the 2 second round picks. We have 2 fourth round picks. We have a lot of money in free agency. We could afford to swing for the fences here. John Metchie to the New York Jets. Next up, round 4, pick 108, cornerback from Clemson, Mario Goodrich. 6', 190. Goodrich is a big physical quarterback that can wrap up an open field. He's a fantastic tackler. First team All ACC. I don't feel like Goodrich gets enough credit. I know Booth is kind of the opposite of Goodrich. He's kind of the headliner of that defensive back room. But I think Mario deserves credit. He really does. He's a playmaker. He's aggressive. Not afraid. He's not shying away from contact, looking to get help from other players. No, he wants to come up. He's a hard-nosed player. Just stick his nose in, make the tackle, strips, really go in, try to rip the football out of the ball carrier's hands. My type of player. You look at him coming out of a back pedal. The system, again, cover 3, cover 4, it's all about bursting out of that zone coverage with the underneath passes. I think Goodrich does a really good job of that. I feel comfortable with him on the outside, being able to tackle one-on-one, being able to tackle NFL talent one-on-one. And of course, we're in the 4th round here. You're not going to be drafting these guaranteed Pro Bowlers or anything like that. But I believe Goodrich could possibly be a day 1 starter for this Jets team if we don't really make that major move in free agency for, that number 1 shutdown corner, Stephon Gilmore, JC Jackson, something like that. But I really like Mario. Next up, round 4, pick 114, I'm going Cade Mays, offensive lineman from Tennessee. 6'6", 325, Cade Mays is a former 5-star high school athlete. A lot of potential, great size. I think he's athletic. I think he has good feet. I think coming out of a standstill, he does really well. He's fast. He's quick to the punch. He has 35 career collegiate starts, some at Georgia, some at Tennessee. He provides you versatility. He can play tackle or guard. That's fine because the Jets need help at both tackle and guard. I think at this point in the draft, Joe Douglas is looking at his potential. He's looking at his size. I think in round 4, with the 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, this is an extra pick anyway. It's Carolina's originally. I think he takes a swing. Next up, round 5, pick 145, running back from Iowa, Tyler Goodson. Coming in at 5'10", 200 pounds, Goodson has had production in 3 straight years, but he's coming off the best season of his career, racking up over 1,100 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns, and 31 receptions. I really like Goodson. He has that breakaway speed. It doesn't really look like, he falls down like the second he gets touched, he goes flying, or, he's like looking to get down, looking to step out of bounds. He looks for contact. I really like that. Yes, he is on the shorter end, but I think he fits the system well. I think he's a good zone runner. I think when he breaks it to the outside, like as soon as he breaks that tackle, you just have that feel that Goodson's going to take it all the way. And look who was blocking for him. Tyler Linderbaum, okay? And according to this mock draft, he's going to be a member of the New York Jets as well. So I think this late, round 5, we're getting a super productive running back that can now come in and, be that two-headed horse with Michael Carter. Tevin Coleman's a free agent. I don't really know at this point where the Jets stand with LaMichael Pirine and Ty Johnson. We'll see what happens in both of those areas. Maybe the Jets bring in a veteran running back in the offseason. But as we stand right now, I think I'd be totally pumped with Tyler Goodson. And last but not least, round 5, pick 161, linebacker from Auburn, Zacoby McClain. 6 foot 220. McLean does a really good job of just attacking the ball carrier, just a violent playmaker. Actually reminds me a lot of Quincy Williams. So I think, again, at this point in the draft, round 5, you're not really drafting like day 1 starters. I view McLean as a possible depth piece. If Quincy were to go down with an injury or something like that, he would be a nice fill-in, a guy who could compete with players like Jamie Sherwood and Hobson Najaldeen. So to recap, we have George Karlaftis, pick number 4, Tyler Linderbaum, that rounds out round 1. Rounds 2, Daxton Hill, Trey McBride. Round 3, John Metchie, wide receiver from Alabama. Round 4, Mario Goodrich and Cade Mays. Round 5, Tyler Goodson and Kobe McLean. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Of course, there are certain guys that I left off this list, guys that I've talked a lot about before in the past, like Kyle Hamilton, Jahan Dotson, Brisker. There's a lot of, Charlie Kohler. There's a lot of players that, Darian Kennard is another guy who I really, really like. But in this one, again, I felt like the theme should be trying to really go into this with the mindset of Joe Douglas, with his style of building the team. Not going to be the last mock draft by no means. Okay, expect a lot of them, tons more. Should be a lot of fun. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you watching. I know it's a longer video. Thanks so much, and as always, go Jets.